zelfs als het fluisteren wordt verstaan. My daughter asked me about my profession. And I could have told her that I was a manager, or that I attend meetings, or that I make decisions based on very elaborate business cases. But I decided to tell her that I prevent bad people from doing bad things, because this has been the objective in my work for the last 15 years. I've worked in intelligence and consulting and management. I've worked all across Europe with some very, very motivated teams, with one single objective: preventing bad people from doing bad things. And for me, bad people include terrorists and frauds and agents and hackers. As I say to my daughter, naughty people. And bad things include stealing and killing and damaging. In short, naughty things. And then my daughter wanted to know how many bad people I had caught with my bare hands. So you need to understand, in her mind, bad people wear striped suits and masks, and they look like Darth Vader or like Cruella de Vil. I explained to her that my work is all about prevention. It's not about repression. It's all about outpacing and outsmarting the bad people. The people who can work without bureaucracy or paralyzing regulations. And it's this work that I'm very passionate about. And then my daughter wanted to know if we were actually winning. Is good prevailing over bad? I immediately told her, yes, of course we are. But the question made me think. So I consulted my colleagues, those quiet specialists who tried to make the world a safer place. And they were unanimous. They said no. They said more bad people are doing more bad things every single day. Good people are losing, and bad people are winning. And to me, this did not feel right. Did not fit well within my experience, and most of all, I was absolutely unwilling to share this conclusion with my daughter Josephine. So today, I stand before you to share 3 stories. They're all based on my experience, and I hope that they provide an insight into the dynamics and the challenges of my world. But most of all, I hope that they provide an answer to the question posed by my 8-year-old daughter Josephine: are the good people winning? So, first story. Like most of you, I was deeply shocked to see those planes flying to the World Trade Center in the Pentagon in 2001. I was also very motivated by the brave people on board of Flight 93, the one that crashed in Shanghai, because the people on board decided to fight the terrorists. And for me, the 9/11 attacks were very much a call to action. And as a result, I decided to join the world of military intelligence in 2002. And our objective at the time was to identify bad people, to analyze their behavior, and to use this analysis for preventing bad things from happening. This is what we did, and we had access to an abundance of data and many, many experts. But what surprised me in practice was that all these pieces of the puzzle were not being joined, whereas the joint potential to do so was huge. And in my mind, intelligence is very much driven by borders being taken away. And instead, I saw all these borders being shaped by knowledge being kept. And this annoyed me, pissed me off, because for me the 9/11 attacks were still very fresh in my mind. But it also made me think about my profession. Now, when you look at security professionals, the first thing you notice is their dedication. You need to understand that these people dedicate their lives to security. Also, security professionals, I reckon, are very driven, they're highly educated, very motivated, and they do certainly not give up easily. Also incredibly stubborn by them. And also, security professionals understand it does not pay to advertise in the world of intelligence. And the way I see this is that intelligence is very much a team sport. But security professionals are not necessarily team players. Because analysts and managers, and open source intelligence experts, and SIGINT experts, and mathematicians, and librarians, and operators and special forces, these people, they love what they do. They really do, but they're not always willing to concede or collaborate. However, they are most certainly willing to pursue an objective that is worth fighting for. So again, in 2002, to us, the status quo made absolutely no sense. I mean, we were landing people on the moon in 1969, but we were somehow unable to collaborate properly as a team in 2002. So again, the objective was to identify the bad people, to analyze their behavior and to predict. And to be able to do this, you need to understand the behavior of the bad people from all possible angles, including military, political, social, economical, psychological and cultural. And this requires, from start to finish, teamwork. So at a certain point in time, we decided as a team to set aside our petty differences and started operating finally as a team. And the way we did this, the way we started this, was on a whiteboard in a very small room. And we defined the bad people by defining dots on this whiteboard. And as we stood there in this tiny office with too many men who drank too much coffee, while trying to suppress the immense need to debate, what we found out is there were actually far more dots, i.e. bad people, than we expected. Far more dots. And the next step was we started connecting the dots. And by connecting the dots, we build a chart. And the chart enables you to understand the behavior of the bad people. And the chart enabled us sometimes to confirm hypotheses, and in other cases to build new, more advanced theories. And slowly but surely, as we built a team, this chart became the epicenter of our efforts. But this was not at all about the chart. This was, of course, about the team, and the team being built slowly but surely. And it was fascinating to see that many friendships in this time were born, and many differences were set aside. And ultimately, we all became part of a very successful intelligence team. And in this time, we found many people that did not want to be found. And we were able to prevent many bad things from happening. And to me, this served as a very powerful lesson. It led me to believe that a motivated team with dedicated experts and a single purpose, and people who really actively share information, can achieve anything at all, including defeating the bad people. Second story. In 2012, I became responsible for the fraud management efforts within my organization, this organization. And as a team, we wanted to understand the fundamentals of fraud. So we scheduled a series of meetings. And immediately we noticed that all the people responsible for fraud prevention within these large organizations, our clients, were incredibly frustrated. And you see, the problem was, back in 2012, is that most of our clients are concerned about the happiness of their customers. And they're not at all concerned about the abuse of their digital services. And this leads to tremendous losses. And according to the European Commission, this year, 2016, annual losses globally for tax and revenue digital services, 1 trillion euros just this year. Just think about this number for a second. And then we started interviewing other people. So we started interviewing academics and experts and technology providers. But for me, it were the frauds that told me most. And I remember talking to this one person who made his living off fraudulent behavior. And today I'll call him Charlie. And Charlie is a very nice guy. He's a very likable person. He's well educated, he has a family, and maybe he's like you and me. But there's one important difference, because Charlie sees beating the system as a sport. And we sat down together in Amsterdam and we shared a beer, and Charlie explained to me about all these loopholes being created in the system. And he explained to me that all these human contact points were being replaced by systems. So all these inspectors within these large organizations, with all this experience built up over decades, were being replaced by systems. And this created, in turn, huge vulnerabilities. And the way Charlie described this to me was as the fraud bonanza of the decade. And he actually thought it was quite funny and interesting. And as we shared a beer together, a glass of Heineken on this terrace on a sunny day in Amsterdam, while I was sitting next to this very likable person who was costing us, you and me, the taxpayer, millions of euros every year. After that, we, as a team, we decided to ramp up our efforts. And why? Very simple. We did not want the bad people to win. And I remember another set of conversations with inspectors. And again, these people, these fraud inspectors, it takes many, many years for them to learn a profession. And as I said, they were deeply frustrated. And these people emphasized over and over again the knowledge and the experience they built up over the years. And again, they emphasize something like a gut feeling, or a Fingerspitzengefühl, or intuition, which was absolutely critical for them to do their job properly. And what was also very interesting is these people were absolutely reluctant to use technology. These people really despised, they hated absolutely technology, which was interesting because for us the way to move forward was very much based on big data and analytics. So the question for us arose, how to link this knowledge of these professionals, which I'll call today implicit knowledge, how to link that with more advanced technology and data. So we started experimenting. We started relatively small, and we began with the implicit knowledge of the inspectors. And what we did is we took a certain postal area which is very prone to fraud. And then we started linking this area with specific profiles. For example, people who have an income just under the threshold for additional inspections, and people who own a speedboat or swimming pool, and people who had known associates like notaries and lawyers who were known to assist frauds, or people, for example, who had no LinkedIn or Facebook profile. We would take this profile and we would link it to available data, and we would use advanced software to look at patterns. And it was interesting. Again and again and again, it would confirm what the inspectors already knew. And they would come to us. They would say, look, of course, I told you so. And they were right. And after that, we would include more implicit knowledge. We would include more data. We would use more advanced software. And again and again and then again, we would unveil the bad people, in this case, the frauds, again and again and again. And the way I see this is that people like Charlie will always continue to exist. They will be. But for me, also, the fraud bonanza of the decade is something of the past, because I believe fundamentally that the marriage between, on the one hand, the implicit knowledge, and on the other hand, data and technology, is very much the way forward. And I reckon that we will win this battle against fraud. Third story. So today I'm responsible for cybersecurity within my organization. And I assumed this role this year. And pretty much the day I started, immediately I saw the urgency of this problem. Cybersecurity is something which concerns us all, without exception. And I got to talk to these clients who were being hacked or attacked by belligerent nation states, or by groups driven by ideology, or sometimes by criminal gangs. And these people talk to me about their losses and the damage to their organization, their reputation and their trust. And I reckon that for the first time, maybe the bad people are outpacing and outsmarting us. And maybe for the first time in 15 years, perhaps this may be a war that we may lose. Now this is what the experts say. They say that the bad people are winning because they have more technology, and more resources, and more funding. And they say that cyber criminals understand very, very well that investment in cybercrime definitely pays off. And they say that belligerent nation states are stealing our secrets and our intellectual property, which is not new, but they're stealing this at an unprecedented scale, which is absolutely new. And they say that deep web and dark web and internet enable the free exchange of all these methodologies and technologies, which can be used in turn to hack and attack us. And they say that the good people are losing because of bureaucratic constraints and legal limitations. And the problem is not really the availability of resource or technology, it's very much how this is applied. So the good people, I see too often, are applying all these resources and technology in a way which is old-fashioned. By doing so, you limit the effectiveness of cybersecurity. And also they say that privacy and security issues may be on the agenda, but they certainly have not yet been resolved. Now you also need to take into consideration that security professionals, trained security professionals, are very scarce, and that the demand for cybersecurity is absolutely booming. Now if this is true, then something has to change very quickly. We need to think outside of the box. And this is where I like Peter's talk especially. So the way I see it, the future of cybersecurity is very much geared towards men and machines working together. Only machines can keep up with the pace and the speed of technology developments in the field of cybersecurity, where man and machines really need to collaborate. Now, this is not an ugly world. It's not a vision about Terminators or a Matrix. It's very much about collaboration, men and machines working together. But naturally, there are important conditions. So of course, men need to be in control from start to finish. And ultimately, if we want to prevent bad people from doing bad things, we, of course, do not want machines to define what is good and what is bad. So in sum, all preventing bad people from doing bad things are the good people prevailing. I reckon we are. As long as one, we work as teams with a concerted effort towards one objective. Secondly, as long as we link, we're able to marry on the one hand implicit knowledge, on the other hand data and technology. And third, as long as we work with machines for their scale and speed, with humans for their decision-making process. So finally, next time my daughter Josephine asks me, are the good people willing? I will say, yes, Josephine, of course we are. Thank you.